you are thanking Allah. You know that ultimately it is through these people that Allah has done this for you. But you still have a responsibility to thank those who do good to you. Why? Why did Allah make this through His Prophet ﷺ compulsory for us? Stress it for us. Why? Because it is human nature to do good when people are thankful. If I do some good things for you, and then you don't thank me for it, and another opportunity comes for me to do good, I'm not going to want to do it. Few are those who are able to do good under all circumstances, whether people thank them or they don't. Most people, the vast majority of people, if somebody is negligent in this matter, they don't thank them, and first they take it for granted, whatever you've done, so what, no big deal. If it wasn't Allah's will, you wouldn't have done it anyway. Most people, when they hear that, it just destroys their desire to do good. Because of that, Islam makes it compulsory for us to thank people, to encourage good, because thanking encourages good. So part of the character that comes out of Hajj is that of a thankful nature. The individual remembers to thank Allah and to thank other human beings. Added to that is the quality of being a universalist, because Hajj is the ultimate United Nations. There are representatives from all corners of the earth, Muslim representatives, all coming for one purpose, for the worship of Allah. This should instill in us a consciousness of the universality of Islam. That Islam is not about tribe, nation, race, and all these things. This is why in the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's sermon, in the farewell Hajj, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ stressed that there is no superiority of the Arabs over the non-Arabs, of the white over the black, the brown over the red. No superiority. That the only source of superiority is taqwa. This is what makes a person better than the other. And who knows where there is taqwa? We as human beings, we judge people on the outside in terms of what they do. But ultimately, we don't know what is in the heart. Allah alone knows what ultimately is in the heart. So we're not in a position to judge taqwa. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "At-taqwa ha-huna," pointing to his heart. Taqwa is here, in the heart. So Islam invites us to the recognition that we are all one brotherhood. As Allah said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. All of the believers are one brotherhood. We are from one origin. We are all members of the human race. Yes, the colonial powers have instilled in our minds that there are different races on earth of human beings. There is the Caucasoid race, which is themselves. There is the Mongoloid race, which is the peoples of China, and there's the Negroid race, peoples of Africa. And you all are somewhere in between, mixtures. This is what they've taught us. But the reality of the matter is that it is a lie. It is a lie. There is only one race, and that is the human race. That's it. That is all. When we look at the cats, we have cats with stripes and spots and black and white and all. We don't call them different species of cats. Cats. Just one cat. We give them different names and something, but there's just one species of cat. Cat. As we are regardless of our colors, sizes, shapes, where our hair is, our features, and we're one human race. We're from one origin. And Allah left signs within us which would become known in the times when people had the technology and the racial attitudes would become strong, national attitudes would become strong. He left a sign in our blood that the Caucasian who has promoted himself as being superior, the colonial powers from Europe and America ruled our world. They became the masters, and they projected themselves and their culture as being superior to the cultures of the third world peoples. They call themselves the first world, and they call the rest of the world the third world. There's no second world. You never wondered, where did the second world go? They want to show there's such a gap between the first world and the third world. Don't even think about crossing. But the reality is that Caucasian individual, that Caucasian, if he or she has to have surgery and they need a blood transfusion and they are type A blood, their whole family, their tribe, if everybody else is B, O, and there is one Chinese who is A, then that Chinese person's blood can save them and their tribe and their relatives cannot. So who ultimately is closer to that individual? The tribe and the nation, or that person whose blood can save their life? Obviously that person is closer. These are among the signs which Allah has left. Because if Allah had willed, He could have had it so that people, when they're, different tribes, etc., or different families, etc., that they share the same blood type. He could have had it that way, if He had wished. But He deliberately left this sign within us, that the blood types would cross all of the different, tribal, so-called racial barriers, to remind us that the human race is one race. As we have one God, and we have one human race, that God sent one religion, and that is Islam. That's to remind us, it's only one religion. God didn't send many religions. He sent the prophets with one message, not many messages to confuse people, so people would not know what is right and what is wrong, how to worship God. No, He sent the messengers with one message. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. I've sent, Allah says, we've sent to every nation and tribe a messenger, inviting them to worship Allah alone and to avoid the worship of false gods. One message, one religion. إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ Islam. Religion with Allah is Islam. That's it. No other religion. One God, one race, human beings, and one religion. Because our natures are one. The human nature is one. No change. So the religion is one, geared to guide that human nature to righteousness and goodness. The third basic principle, before we look at the third basic principle, to shift back to our home situations from the Hajj, from the universality of Hajj, we should come back with a realization that it is not about being Indian or Pakistani or Sri Lankan or American or Emirati or whatever. We should not come back. If there is a cricket game on television, we should not be there rooting for the Indian side because they're Indians. Or we say, no, root for the Pakistani side because they're Pakistanis and Pakistanis are Muslims. These kinds of feelings, partisanship, where we're rooting for this side or that side because they belong to this group or that group. It's about